Up next on The Reveal. Why is it harder for a black person to become a firefighter or a police officer in Cobb County?
It's always been the elephant in the room.
It is absolutely no excuse other than systemic racism.
The shocking numbers The Reveal has uncovered, and what Cobb's new public safety director is admitting about the facts.
I mean, what am I going to say? We're still not struggling with that, but I do believe that what we need is a definite plan of action, a strategy.
3 years after U.S. Marshals killed her son in a rain of gunfire, a Georgia mother still wants answers.
It's like my heart is broken, and I'm gonna, continue to fight until I get justice for him.
Could your hotel room or vacation rental be rigged with a hidden camera?
This is a bedroom, and you'd never know it, but there are 3 cameras watching us right now.
Yes, sir. You have the camera lenses here, and then the other 2, one's an infrared illuminator, and then the other one's the motion sensor.
Some tips on how to spot it. From our Midtown studios in Atlanta, The Reveal begins now with investigators Faith Abube and Rebecca Lindstrom.
Welcome to The Reveal, a show where our investigations are making an impact.
If you're a black person looking to be a firefighter or police officer in Cobb County, good luck. It might be harder for you than you think. In an exclusive investigation, The Reveal has obtained data laying out the county's racial problem when it comes to hiring in those departments. And even though Cobb has known about it for 30 years, little has changed.
I probably think about some of the calls where, children died, someone that had a heart attack and we got them back, things like that kind of stand out.
But when Michael McIntosh shows up at a house these days, there are no flashing lights, no loud engine noises, or an army in fire-resistant uniform rushing alongside him into a fire.
Mainly doing houses, driveways, decks.
Now it's just him and his pressure washing equipment. A more low-key way to spend his days in retirement after 25 years as a Cobb County firefighter.
Yeah, these are the last 2 helmets I wore. I've always, I enjoyed what I did. I enjoyed the people.
But Michael's great memories also highlight a county government problem.
And I was the only, black person on my shift. It's always been the elephant in the room, so to speak. Nobody made me feel, a certain way about it. But, in my mind, of course, I definitely noticed.
And so did Russell Clay, who also recently retired from Cobb Fire.
It's not many of us there. Most of the time I was at a station, I was the only African-American at a station working.
Records obtained by The Reveal show, out of 746 employees currently in the Cobb County Fire Department, fewer than 60 of them, or 7.8%, are black. Compare that to the county itself, which is currently made up of 28% black people. The numbers don't look that much better in the police department. In plain language, it means the racial makeup of Cobb County's police and fire departments does not reflect its own community.
The strategic plan.
The county's public safety director, Michael Register, admits that's a problem.
All humans want to be represented equally and fairly, and they want to feel like justice is served.
But it's not that minorities aren't applying for the jobs. The Reveal uncovered more than 400 black people applied to work with the county's fire department last year. 126 took the test. Almost all of them passed, but Cobb County hired just 6 of them. At the same time, fewer white people applied for the same jobs, and Cobb County hired 5 times more. At the county's police department, 788 black people applied in 2018. Records show the county hired just 1 of the black applicants. But when half of that, 400 white people applied, the county hired more of them.
It is absolutely no excuse other than systemic racism.
Unfortunately, race is still an issue. Wish in this day and age that it wasn't.
Jareen Grimes is the president of the Cobb County NAACP.
We've had firefighters that have voiced concerns about the hiring practices, the lack of promotions.
So by you keeping our numbers and structure even so low like that, you even limit the opportunity for those that will be available to even progress up through the ranks.
I don't think it's that they didn't want minorities. I just think maybe it wasn't a priority.
But it was the county itself that said it would make it a priority. An internal memo obtained by The Reveal shows the county personnel director saying, quote, "As vacancies occur, however, we will exert every effort to recruit, employ, and advance minorities and females." That was in 1992, 4 years after a federal investigation exposed that Cobb County had issues with hiring minorities in its police and fire departments.
I mean, what am I going to say? We're still not struggling with that. But I do believe that what we need is a definite plan of action, a strategy.
Just to be clear, it's not that black people are not applying. It's not that they're not qualifying for the test. It's just something along the way that's breaking down where they're not entering the workforce.
I think that those are some of the drop points that we are going to look at.
Cobb County has had an equal opportunity plan since 1973. They adopted that affirmative action plan in 1989. At what point does this just become lip service?
I don't know. How about April 23rd, 2019, when I was put in as public safety director? Because that's my commitment to the community. That's my commitment to public safety.
Register says he's already started the ball rolling on making a change and bringing equality into the hiring practices in Cobb.
Hopefully, when you come back to see me, I would love to have the fire department be right around the 20% mark, give or take.
Within 2 years?
Within 2 years.
After 30 years of hearing similar promises, civil rights advocates are skeptical. But Grimes says she sees hope in the new public safety director.
In this day and age, we've got to do better. We have to do better. We have to start having conversations that may make some folks uncomfortable, but they need to be had so that we can make the change.
And it's so important to point out here, no one is asking for an upper hand for females and minorities. They just want every candidate to have a fair chance.
So does the public safety director have any specific plans?
He has several plans, including hiring a full-time recruiter for the fire department who can work on diversity. He also recently announced pay increases for the fire and police departments, which he says should help.
Coming up on The Reveal. They arrest some of the most dangerous fugitives. But is it time to take a hard look at their methods?
Quite frankly, I've never seen anything as horrific as this scene.
If you have a news tip or a comment on one of our investigations, email us at thereveal@11alive.com.
Welcome back to The Reveal. No body cameras, no task force. That's the decision by Atlanta police, fed up with U.S. Marshal missions cloaked in secrecy. The Reveal raised questions about the federal government's stand on body cameras 3 years ago after the death of Jamarian Robinson, a man shot 59 times. Now, one district attorney is questioning whether the Department of Justice is interested in justice at all.
Oh. You going, is that real? Is that true?
Jamarian Robinson's death has grabbed headlines across the country.
You hear these gunshots?
But his mother, Monteria, says she is still waiting for the full story to be told.
It's like they're on a hunt. And just so happened that day, it was my son that they killed.
You don't hear these gunshots?
Killed in a rain of gunfire. 59 shots, 76 bullet wounds in all, as members of the U.S. Marshals Regional Task Force served an arrest warrant on behalf of the Atlanta Police Department. The Department of Justice, which oversees the program, quickly cleared the officers of any wrongdoing.
But I think that people...
But nearly 3 years after the shooting, Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard still is not convinced.
We've been asking for all of the evidence, the documents, regarding their investigation, all the rules and policies that relate to the shooting of Jamarian Robinson. And they have systematically denied us the opportunity to receive that information.
Howard filed a lawsuit hoping a federal judge would order the release of the documents. Shortly after, the two sides agreed to try again to resolve their differences.
And as I sit here today, we have yet to receive all of the information that we've asked for. I have never heard of it happening.
U.S. Marshal missions are already cloaked in secrecy. After the shooting, the reveal raised questions about their policy against the use of body cameras.
And it starts recording.
The Department of Justice has given $70 million in grants to local law enforcement departments across the country to buy the cameras. But it forbids those same police departments from using them while assisting on its operations. The Department of Justice refuses to say why. Last month, after another controversial shooting involving a federal task force, the Atlanta Police Department said no more. It ended the partnership, giving up nearly $1 million in seizure money each year, the price for transparency and public trust.
Quite frankly, I've never seen anything as horrific as this scene.
Private investigator Rashid McCall took us back to the townhouse where Robinson died. It was McCall that tracked down the cell phone video taken by a witness. It was also McCall, not police, that found 2 more bullets under the blood-soaked carpet, fired straight down at the top of the stairs where Robinson's body was found.
More than likely, those slugs came from a weapon called an MP5.
Court records show at least one officer had an MP5 that day. But according to interviews with the GBI made public for the first time, none of the officers report firing any shots while standing upstairs and say after throwing a flashbang, Robinson was unresponsive. But listen. McCall believes that was the flashbang, and 20 seconds later, more gunfire. That's why Howard says he needs to hear from those officers directly. But he says the DOJ will only agree if they get to control the questions.
We think, as prosecutors representing our county and our citizens, that we ought to have the right to ask any question that we want to ask.
Howard says he is taking his quest for accountability to a new level.
Good to see everybody.
He plans to send a letter to Congressman John Lewis asking for a congressional investigation into this and nearly 5 dozen other fatal shootings by U.S. Marshals.
It's been really hard.
Ontaria Robinson doesn't know what it's going to take, but she says she needs to know what actually happened inside that house to heal the emptiness that now fills her own.
I look over at the table and I don't see him there. And so it's like my heart is broken, and I'm going to, continue to fight until I get justice for him.
Jamarian's mother has filed a civil lawsuit, and it's through those court filings that we're beginning to see pieces of the GBI's investigation. I think what's frustrating for me is that the Department of Justice just refuses to say why it won't allow these body cameras.
Some of these officers are undercover agents, so could the department be trying to protect them?
Perhaps, but if that's the problem, there's already a solution because almost every body camera software package already comes with some form of redaction software.
And if the DA can't get the information he needs, what happens to the criminal case?
The district attorney says he's going to take this case in some form to the grand jury, whether he gets the DOJ's help or not. I think the real issue is just how strong of a case he can make when he presents it.
Up next, could a camera be hidden in your hotel room or vacation rental?
This is a bedroom, and you'd never know it, but there are 3 cameras watching us right now.
Yes, sir. You have the camera lenses here, and then the other 2, one's an infrared illuminator, and then the other one's the motion sensor.
We'll tell you how to spot it.
Our next investigation is just plain creepy. But if you're planning a summer vacation, listen up.
Imagine after checking into your Airbnb, you get this feeling that you're being watched. Your gut might be right. The host may be using hidden cameras to spy on you.
Rent a place for vacation, and the last thing most of us think about is whether we're being watched.
When I go to a hotel, I might look in the shower, look in the closet, but y'all recommend that people look even more than that.
Yes, definitely.
Spy Center Security in Plano outfitted this place with hidden cameras to show us how difficult many of them are to detect.
You have the camera lenses here, and then the other 2, one's an infrared illuminator to see at nighttime, and then the other one's the motion sensor.
It is a notebook that can hide in plain sight.
The battery life on this one's pretty intense because it can actually go to sleep when there's no motion, and it can potentially last years.
And open it up, and this is just a regular, if someone pulled this off the shelf, it looks like a regular portfolio.
Yeah. I mean, you can take notes in here, or, you know, it's just a normal 2-ring binder, so you could put anything you wanted in there.
But take a closer look at it.
So the SD card and all of the controls and everything go in right here.
This is a bedroom, and you'd never know it, but there are 3 cameras watching us right now.
Yes, sir.
The most impressive is this DVD player.
And this is an actual functioning Blu-ray player here. So what we have is, again, a high-definition camera that can record directly to an SD card, but then also connect to Wi-Fi, so you can see it remotely.
This looks like I'd buy it off the shelf.
Oh, yeah.
Where's the camera on this?
So this one is a little tricky. You'll notice it's actually hidden. I'm even having a hard time finding it here. It's actually right here. And what they do is they literally buy a Philips Blu-ray player. So this is normal from Philips, and then they modify it and put all the equipment inside the case there.
That little black pedestal there under the vase is a wireless hidden camera. And doubtful you'd look twice at this key fob and Bluetooth earpiece, but both of them have HD cameras inside.
We have pens, we have video glasses, you have stationary devices, obviously like air purifiers.
Michael Deere owns the security firm and showed us tiny cameras hidden in AC adapters, Bluetooth speakers.
You still have some desk chargers, you know, where you plug in your iPhone.
This isn't paranoia.
You can see us and hear us okay?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Just ask Max Vest.
When I was getting in bed, I noticed the 2 little boxes plugged into the outlets and wasn't sure what they were, so kind of unplugged them and looked them up and found out they were cameras and they had memory cards in them.
Max found 2 hidden cameras in the bedroom of an Airbnb he rented in Miami. He popped out the 2 memory cards and took them to police. Airbnb told us this host has been removed from our community and added that we require hosts to clearly disclose any security cameras in writing on their listings.
This wasn't a negative experience. This was a criminal act.
Airbnb says it forbids cameras in bedrooms and bathrooms and says cameras cannot be hidden in public places either.
All I could think was my life is over.
But hotels have had their own problems. A young woman is suing after video of her showering at a Hampton Inn in New York ended up online. The hotel is working with police to identify who did it. And look at what happened in South Korea. 1,600 hotel guests were secretly streamed live for months until investigators busted the 4 men behind it in March.
Invasion of privacy is extremely serious because the internet is written in ink, and once it goes out into the web, it's never coming back.
Shannon Schott is Max's attorney.
We're not on a mission to end Airbnb or to, tell people not to use their services. It's a great idea. It's a great concept. They just need to do a little bit better.
But what are you supposed to do?
So this is actually a bug detector and also a camera finder.
You can buy a gadget to sweep a room like this and look for those tiny little lenses.
Going crazy over there.
Or a frequency detector to pinpoint devices that emit Wi-Fi signals. Experts also suggest unplug devices, turn them around, or just put a towel over anything you suspect. Technology has made cameras smaller and easier to conceal, which now requires travelers to take vigilance on vacation. In Dallas, I'm Jason Whiteman.
If you have a news tip or a comment on one of our investigations, email us at thereveal@11alive.com.
You've been watching the now Emmy-nominated Reveal, a show dedicated to impact investigations.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.